if we look at it objectively, whether we're looking at incomings or outgoings at Tottenham, Wayne, who's leading the recruitment charge? Do you think Ange is really involved in all of these moves, or are there senior members really at Tottenham that might be pulling the strings?
It's quite interesting because they brought in two new recruitment people in November, both from Aston Villa. Rob McKenzie, head of recruitment, Johan Lang, who's the sporting director. But Fabio Paratici, from sort of what contacts are saying, he very much still pulls the strings despite his worldwide ban. He has the ear of Daniel Levy. Levy trusts his judgment, and Paratici's fingerprints have been all over the best Tottenham signings of the last sort of 5 years, really, because all those players they've signed from Italy. We spoke about them a couple of weeks ago. They've all done superbly well. Bentancur, Kulusevski, Destiny Odigi, Romero, the Vicario, they're all Fabio Paratici recommended players, and he brought them all in. It was absolutely key to bring them all in. So, but in the background, and sort of Brian will know much more than me of what really goes on in the background at an elite club like Tottenham. I think Brian was there 6 years as senior scout at Tottenham during the Daniel Levy era as well. Paratici's absolutely pulling the strings on their business.
Brian, have you got any insight? What's Daniel Levy like as a character on a day-to-day basis? How close did you work with him during your time at Tottenham?
I didn't really have that much contact with him. Only over one deal, really, that the people that I got involved with to bring Modric to Spurs, and that was not the sporting director who handled that deal. That was the chairman. And the chief scout at the time was a fellow called Eddie President, who was a former player. And I think Eddie's rise to fame, although God rest his soul now, he was Jeff Hurst's best man when he got married. And Eddie was a wonderful man, great football knowledge. And through him and me and the chairman, the deal for Modric was done after it could have been messed up. But just listening to you, Wayne, about the boy Gallagher at Chelsea, it seems a strange one in one way, but there again, as you say, Chelsea have got to get the finances right, and certainly the money they've spent, and I think everybody agree they've misspent it, because the players they brought in have not been the kind of players that they were anticipating to bring in. One player in particular, I'm not going to name him because I think the story was that they brought in the wrong player.
Oh, please name him, Brian.
I think it's a Ukrainian boy, but I'm not going to go any further than that. No, I personally, I think if they're looking for a central midfield player, and there's been a lot of talk, the boy Phillips at Man City, I mean, 5 or 6 million it costs for a loan. I'd be looking at that. I'd certainly be looking at him, because he's the kind of energy that Ange likes. And obviously, Pochettino having to lose Gallagher, if it happens, would be a big loss for him, because he's been central in every game Pochettino's been involved in as a manager, and has proved his worth not only internationally but as a club player, and the player who's come up through the ranks. Good player. Both Phillips and Gallagher, for me, are Spurs players that would work hard for the team and for the manager and for the club. And as I say, if they can get a player of Phillips's ability on loan, I'd certainly have that. And it's still There's still 18, 19 days left of this month, so the window ain't going to close, and things can change quickly.
Yeah, and you can also see a scenario, can't you, where they have a number one target, a number two, number three, number four, and Phillips, I mean, he is on their target list. I think you're definitely right about that, and obviously he's available. Man City's available, but they have a loan fee that they want, and also they want all his wages covered, don't they, I believe. So, you know, that means Juventus think are out of the running, and it's limiting the potential clubs who can afford him and take him. But Tottenham will have their backup list, won't they?
Well, he can't affect Man City that much, even if he does go to Tottenham, because I presume that there'd be a clause that says he won't play against Tottenham in the second game or whatever. But Spurs are not in the Champions League, so he's going to concentrate and funnily enough, with the FA Cup coming up, I wonder whether Gary Mabbutt had another own goal there doing the draw. I mean, you couldn't have picked a worse team to play if you want to succeed in the FA Cup. But if you're going to win the best cup competition, then you've got to play the best. So, I mean, it's an interesting one. But for 5 or 6 million for a loan, I mean, when you're talking about prices today, I don't think that'd be a bad deal for 6 months.
There you go. Well, that's the insight that we need. You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.